Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here today to talk about the efficiency value of PRM and scaling your ecosystem for sustainable growth. I'm Curtis Brinkerhoff with Impartner, and I'm joined here today by Hannibal Scipio and Sam Conway. Hannibal's a principal analyst from Forrester, and Sam is a principal consultant from Forrester. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good day. Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, we're excited for this study and for the results therein, and excited to jump in and talk a little bit about those today. So as we look at the efficiency value of PRM, there's some great results. So we'll jump right into those today. So a little introduction on Impartner. Impartner is built to be a partner lifecycle management solution for scalability. We help automate and scale everything you do to go to the market through indirect sales channels. So as we talk through this study today, you're going to see a lot of different aspects of how we improve business operations and scalability within your organization. But Impartner was really tailored to help organizations grow their margin, their profitability, and scale through a series of different solutions and components that integrate with your CRM and other critical business systems. One of the things that we absolutely love here at Impartner is encouraging and fostering people to look in and do their research. So we want to call attention not only to the study that we're going to reveal here today, but also encourage everyone to go take a look at G2 and why people talk about our solution in the market, and to really understand the feedback that we get from industry. So we're going to encourage you to take a look at a lot of the information and data and really dig into questions to find the best solution that fits your business needs. And there's a lot of information and data out there that can be successful and helpful for you as you do that research. So we just want to call out that you can go and find other resources in addition to the study today to make sure that you can find the most scalable and influential impact to your channel business. All right, so as we jump in here today, Sam, I want to turn things over to you.
Great. Thanks, Curtis. So just a quick agenda for today. We'll start with an explanation of the total economic impact methodology, which you'll hear me refer to as TEI throughout, an executive summary of the findings, and then we'll dig a little more into the customer stories and the detailed results of this study. But before I get to any of that, I just got to start with a little housekeeping here, and I want to ensure that the audience is aware of the following disclosures. This document is an abridged version of the full case study titled The Total Economic Impact of Impartner, which we completed in May 2023. The study was commissioned by Impartner and delivered by Forrester's Consulting Group. Forrester makes no assumptions as to the potential return on investment that other organizations will receive, and Forrester strongly advises that readers should use their own estimates within the framework provided in the report to determine the appropriateness of an investment in Impartner. Impartner reviewed and provided feedback for Forrester, but Forrester maintained editorial control over the study and its findings, and does not accept changes to the study that might contradict Forrester's findings or obscure the meaning of the study. The customer names for the interviews were provided by Impartner, and finally, Forrester does not endorse Impartner. All right, so what is TEI? TEI goes beyond TCO and ROI to understand the total business value a service or solution provides an organization. We do this by looking at traditional metrics such as cost savings, user efficiency, and business effectiveness, but we weight it based on risk, scalability, and flexibility.
So, Sam, a question on this. Why is this so important in today's market with what we're seeing in the economy and overall across the globe?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, it's true. A lot of teams will focus on one outcome or one objective, but when making that business case and truly justifying the investment, you want to look at the whole picture. So, for example, you might have marketing teams looking just at top line revenue, top line results, but they're not considering the long-term cost of ownership of that solution. Or you have traditional infrastructure teams that might care more about TCO, but ignore the downstream impacts of that investment. But to make the real full business case, you do have to look at the entire picture. And that's what we're trying to do with TEI.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Thank you.
So that brings us to the core components of the TEI framework. First, we have benefits, which are the business advantages an organization gains by implementing a solution or service. And we have costs. These are both direct, such as fees paid for a service or solution, and indirect, such as internal costs for training or implementation. We also try, when possible, to measure what we call flexibility. This is not explicitly what customers are currently experiencing, but the possibilities they unlock in the future by making an investment today. Finally, we risk adjust all categories to create a conservative and realistic view of what a potential customer may experience. Together, these elements combined make up what we call the total economic impact. In the context of today's presentation, Forrester took a multi-step approach to evaluating the impact of Impartner. First, we have due diligence, which is harnessing the knowledge of Forrester's esteemed analysts like Hannibal and our research to understand the product market, as well as interviewing key stakeholders at Impartner to understand the broader product strategy and vision. We then go and interview multiple customers. So in this case, we interviewed 4 Impartner customers to understand their use cases and outcomes. And we create a composite organization which represents the typical or average experience of the customers we interview. We create a financial model and case study around that composite organization to measure the composite value of the solution. And that is what our presentation today is on. But before we dig into those detailed results, I'd like to cover some of the high-level findings from the study. So Forrester found the following 3-year financial results for the composite organization: a return of 296%, a payback period of under 6 months, and a net present value of $2.4 million. To go along with those numbers, we have some great testimonials from their customers. The senior partner manager from a security firm we interviewed told us that using Impartner is the first interaction our partners have with us. It's instrumental that we give them a good experience, make it easy to engage with us, and access everything they're looking for. So how do we get those results? We started by interviewing 4 different organizations that had deployed Impartner. We had 2 security firms, an IT organization, and a security firm. 3 of those companies are headquartered in the US, with 1 in EMEA. And as you can see, the organizations ranged in size from $151 million in annual revenue to $7 billion in annual revenue.
So, Sam, if I'm understanding this correctly, out of these organizations that you interviewed, regardless of where they were headquartered or the scale of their business, the findings in this study are fairly universal across what you have discovered.
That's correct, as are the pain points and challenges which they were trying to solve by investing in Impartner.
Excellent.
On this slide here, when we talk about prior challenges, I think the point you made, Curtis, about how across the board, these varying companies of varying sizes based upon their revenue, they're all experiencing like or similar challenges when it relates to managing and supporting their partners or their ecosystem of partners. So this right here really reflects that this becomes a key driver, or several key drivers that make it important to make an investment in a platform technology to overcome those challenges, several of which here are listed. For example, poorly maintained homegrown partner tools with few features. You see this a lot, especially when you have smaller companies who are starting to recognize and experiment with How do they better increase the performance or efficiencies of working with partners? But that may not be their core business competency in context of building tools. So a purpose-built solution ultimately becomes a very important consideration as far as the next investment. Difficulty expanding partnership revenue. Partnerships is about relationships and how well you maintain those relationships. Technology, the ease of doing business become a critical part of that equation. So that's another key driver, a significant driver for investing in PRM. Inefficient content delivery and marketing spend, super important. As partners they start to work with, as partners think about how they create revenue, to think upstream in context of how to do a better job of marketing to existing and or new customers. How do they do that effectively via cost, via processes, etc. And so the creation and the delivery of content, the tracking of content utilization becomes very critical to start to measure how effective, how engaged are your partners. And then lastly, poor partner experience. The ease of doing business is critically important to the partner's overall success. Perhaps you might have a superior product, but if it is difficult to work with you, the partner does not feel the love and attention and detail to how to make their experience and the process of working with you easy and valuable, they'll move elsewhere. So ensuring your partners have a high quality experience is also reflective of your investment in ensuring that your partners are happy and productive.
So Hannibal, that to me sounds like the Amazon-like experience, right? Of how easy it is to find, procure, and access the things that you need is really what's changing the market today, as we've seen, and that plays into the partner experience as well.
Precisely. I like to use the expression, the consumerization of B2B, right? As easy as it is to use Amazon, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on your iPad or wherever, and to quickly be able to make a purchase, track the delivery of it, provide a rating, and provide photos of how great the product turned out. Those type of easy and valuable nuggets of the experience, think about how that could be translated into how you make it easy for your partners to not only do business with you, but enjoy doing business with you as well.
I love that. Appreciate you sharing that.
Great. Yeah, and I mean, just to sum up some of those pain points, right, and paraphrase one of our interviewees, there wasn't a practical way to manage thousands of partners without technology. So I think that kind of succinctly sums up that larger problem statement for some of them. Great. And to look at this again from a high level, firms using Impartner to address their pain points found up to 50% increase in partner source deals and a 10% improvement in win rate, automation and self-service tools saving partnership leaders 5 hours per week, up to 75% reduction in cost per lead, and then 330 hours saved per year for internal training resources. And we'll dive a little deeper into these, how they were calculated, and some of the context around them. And speaking of some of those benefits, we have this quote from a senior director of channel experience at a software vendor. I can definitely confirm that if you look at this from a bookings perspective, revenue per partner has shot up dramatically. And this was after their implementation of Impartner.
So Sam, if I look at this quote and I tie that into the last slide of some of those key factors, a 50% increase in that revenue and 10% increase overall on the bookings, this is tying back to Hannibal's statement of what is that experience like? How is automation playing an impact on my business? And how is it actually helping improve my margins, which are critically important in today's market? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back to your point around the total picture, right? We're looking at this from the perspective that it's driving top line results, but you're also reducing some of those internal support costs along with it, right? So you're seeing a higher return as well as a lower cost of ownership.
Excellent. Thank you.
Once again, in order to build our financial model, we had to build a composite organization based on the interviewees. So in this case, our composite organization has the following characteristics. It's a B2B firm with $500 million to $1 billion annual revenue over the 3-year period. It's a global organization with 1,000 partners. The firm employs 20 channel account managers, which you'll hear me refer to as CAMs throughout this presentation, and their average deal size is $30,000.
So Sam, on this composite organization, you guys interviewed multiple organizations as you went through this study. This is just the composite you put together, but it's fair to say that if you're bigger or smaller, the size and scale of this will be unique and different. Is that correct?
That's spot on. So, and this is a nice place where I like to refer listeners to the full case study, because we do lay out the financial model itself in a way that a reader can go and put in, or change some of those levers, or change some of those assumptions themselves in order to get a more bespoke result. We also risk adjust all these benefits, as I stated earlier, because we do acknowledge that there are some things in here that, if it changes from organization to organization, will impact the model itself. So for instance, the average deal size, right? If you have a larger or smaller average deal size, that is going to have a material impact on the model itself.
Excellent. So we would encourage people to go take a look at that full case study. And if you're interested, we've actually created a calculator in conjunction with this study that we can provide to anyone that may be interested as well. And we would invite you to reach out and ask for those, or take a look at the case study online, and we can get that in your hands. So appreciate that, Sam. Thank you.
Great. Next slide. So looking at those benefits from a high level, again, the 3-year risk adjusted values. And I do want to point out, we use a 10% discount rate for present value. We have increased channel revenue of $1.6 million, reduced channel support costs of $1.1 million, improved marketing productivity valued at $203,000, and then partner training savings of $299,000.
Those are some pretty good results, I would say.
Yeah, not bad. All right. And now we're going to dive into the details of those high-level results. So we're going to start with the increased channel revenue. So using Impartner, the interviewed organizations introduced a dedicated partner platform with a customizable partner-facing portal for a myriad of activities. These included potential partners signing up to be part of the partner program, or current partners being able to register leads, access pricing information, and take part in training and certification courses. The interviewed organizations highlighted that Impartner helped streamline onboarding, deal registration, and lead routing, which enabled their organizations to quickly grow their partner ecosystems and improve close rates on deals. For the composite organization, the improved onboarding and lead registration increases the number of partner source deals by 30 to 50% over the 3-year period, resulting in a 3-year improvement valued at $1.6 million.
So this here is a significant, greatly important metric or KPI in context of the impact of a PRM that's well managed and well implemented within an indirect business model. Fundamentally, when you talk about working with partners to support the indirect route to market, is to increase revenue, and particularly through the channel, increasing their performance. But in doing so, it also requires thinking about, how do you provide the tools, the content, the experience, the information for partners to be able to be an extension of your organization and conduct business as a strategic advisor or core customer base, and to do that as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And so when all those gears are turning in the right direction to work together, partners are able to be much more successful, because they're helping their customers to be more successful at a much more accelerated pace than would have ordinarily with using spreadsheets and emails. So this is a testament in context of what is really one of the marquee impact measures when you have a well-implemented, purpose-built partner relationship management tool or platform to make sure and aid partners in their business success.
So Hannibal, I appreciate that. And as I look at that, and of course those metrics, KPIs and goals, objectives are all important to track. I also think about just running a business, and how do you ensure your people are focused on the right thing at the right time, the best thing at the best time, to be very intentional in executing in the market. And to me, as an intangible, that also plays in here of how do I get my people focused exactly where they need to be by automating a lot of these processes? And Sam, to your point, these composite organizations talked about not having to manage deal registrations and lead routing and those things. We can spend our time on more valuable aspects of the business as well. So I think this is telling on a few fronts.
Yeah, automation and repeatability, scale. Those are, I would say, those undercurrents, those themes when it comes to helping partners be more profitable and to generate more revenue. Absolutely.
Yeah, and a common theme we heard from people, right? Again, going to the self-service partner portal, we heard anecdotes of people saying, if this wasn't there, people just wouldn't bring us a deal, right? There's so many deals that are out there that you might be losing just because there's no way for someone to bring that to you in a timely manner. So it just, it goes to someone else, or it just never comes to fruition.
Great example.
Next, we have the reduced partner ecosystem support costs. So Impartner enabled interviewees to grow their partner ecosystems, and it also enabled them to mitigate partner support costs at scale. There's a lot of formerly manual tasks like providing pricing information, lead registration, and onboarding that organizations automated, which saved time for their partner management teams. The Impartner platform also directly integrated with interviewees' CRMs, which helped further avoid manual logging of important information. So for the composite organization, automation, integrations, and self-service tools save those CAMs 5 hours per week and save sales operations administrators 15 hours per week. And over the 3-year analysis, this improvement in productivity is valued at $1.1 million.
So this is a fun one. Reducing the cost to support your partner ecosystem or your full spectrum of varying partner business models and business types. And so we think about the variety that can exist within your ecosystem of partners, no matter how large or perhaps maybe relatively small. Each partner organization is going to have their own unique idiosyncrasies and needs per se. And so having a platform that allows for flows to be created to automate some of the mundane trivial processes, to create for approval workflows, to make sure the right people are getting the right information and providing the right responses in a timely manner. And also kind of getting the telemetry and heuristics of how well your partner is doing business with you, so you can then have the right actions to support their success. Those things bring down costs dramatically, as opposed to constantly being in meetings or delayed email responses or other type of last century type of partner engagement or business engagement type of tactics. So this becomes really, really, really important to be able to provide a high level of support or engagement with partners at a much bigger scale without having to hire exponentially more people in order to do that. And more often than not, especially in these current times and challenges from clients we're hearing, is that they have to do more with less, particularly with less people or less personnel. But yet the ecosystem of partners continue to grow because they have such a great product, or there's a recognition and need for leveraging partners to be able to extend their businesses. And so it also is a great way to think about how to grow your business in a much more efficient and scalable way. So reducing those costs to support partners and managing partners is super important.
Yeah. So when you think about the composite organization, Sam, that you mentioned earlier, the example of the channel account managers is, 20 channel account managers to 1,000 partners. Can we get more scalability out of that on the personnel side, just in terms of management and back and forth because of what this enables, but also the business operations behind how they interact. And of course, if people are traveling or in meetings and you're slowing down opportunities, those opportunities then don't come to fruition because we missed our potential window for a sale, right? So it's a great point, Hannibal.
Next, we have the improved return on marketing spend. With Impartner PMA, organizations could create and manage digital paid ad campaigns on behalf of their partners. The centralized campaign management through Impartner eliminated the likelihood of competition for bids and improved reach within the partner ecosystem. It also ensured messaging control for the organizations. The composite organization sources 25% of its leads through digital ads, and with Impartner, it is able to reduce the cost per lead by up to 75%, Over the 3-year analysis, this savings is valued at $203,000.
Yeah, this is powerful here. When we talk about partner spend and marketing spend and partners, historically, we speak to channel revenue or partner performance is about how much revenue pipeline that partner generate. But as part of the recognition that sometimes you need to go enable partners to go upstream, right, in that funnel to support customers earlier in their life cycle, it requires them to do more marketing activities, whether it be to reach new or attract new customers or to better engage existing customers. And so when we talk about the marketing spend aspect of that, many of our partners would have used events. That was very prevalent, especially when it comes to more value or higher end type of deals. But of course, the pandemic has been a major eye opener when no one was able to conduct or go to an event for 18 plus months. And even after things start opening up again, to execute, to attend or be an exhibitor at an event became also significantly more expensive. And so with that in mind as well, we think about increased costs for events, sometimes less foot traffic. The cost per lead also grew significantly. But during that period during the pandemic as well, part of us had to think about, hey, how do I continue to execute and run my business and grow my business and reach customers where they are, right? And so thinking about more digital marketing activities. And so platforms, PRM platforms that provided ways for partners to 1, learn, 2, understand, 3, execute, and 4, report back the results of their digital marketing capabilities stood out. And partners who executed those digital marketing activities, it was able to weather the pandemic type of customer engagement and continue to grow or sustain their business. But it also speaks to the need wherein partners require consistent engagement. We talk about partner marketing approaches: to partner, through partner, with partner, for partner. The two-partner marketing aspect requires really reaching partners where they are with meaningful information, and typically not just partners as one monolithic block of organization, but reaching the right roles or personas with information that's relevant. Inspire them when and where possible to be able to know that it is possible because it has been done, or they could be a vanguard. And then third, give them the key call to action that for them to start taking action against some of those marketing activities. The through, with, and for partner marketing approaches really then speaks to how do you then empower those partners to execute reaching new customers or existing customers. And particularly on that for partner marketing approach, which is probably more sophisticated because it's more complex. There are newer capabilities now to where now smaller organizations or mid-market organizations can now be empowered to be way more effective and efficient in executing campaigns on behalf of their partners or participating partners for those respective campaigns. Again, driving down the cost of lead, but also expanding the ability to increase awareness and generate demand for those partners to then go off, cultivate those leads, generate pipeline, and ultimately increase their win rate. So I really like this metric here. I think the 3-year PV might be starting at about 200,000, but I think the potential is definitely much higher.
So Hannibal, I come back to what Sam articulated on the size and scale of the business, right? Where that PV could certainly be impacted, but also the external factors that a lot of people are probably asking themselves of, well, hey, what about CCPA or GDPR or other regulations? It's important to note that all of these technologies and solutions that we provide are in alignment with those requirements and compliance so that you can make sure that your business is protected, which is a big deal. But also, how can your partners actually adopt it in a way that allows you to close the gap between total addressable market and total serviceable market? That's always a large business question that you sit in the room and you throw around as an executive team, right? Is how do we close that gap so that we can get into the total serviceable area and close the gap to potential area? So to me, this really expands reach and capability across the entire ecosystem and globe to pull that into your business and capture market share. So.
Yeah, I find this to be very empowering for partners to grow their capabilities and to provide more value, reaching customers, new, existing, and delivering on what customers expect.
Excellent.
And finally, we have partner training savings. So the interviewees said that Impartner's platform offered their organizations the ability to empower partners with digital training and certification programs. The interviewees also noted that deploying the training programs in a code-free interface was easy and that it eliminated the need for developers. The organizations were able to convert rigorous hands-on product and sales training sessions into self-service learning modules for their partners. For the composite organization, converting partner training into digital experiences saves partner trainers 330 FTE hours per year. And over the 3-year analysis, the total MPV for partner training savings is $299,000.
This is a great statistic as well, and a great area as it relates to managing and supporting partners that oftentimes go overlooked. Partners fundamentally are, or should be, an extension of your organization. They should be trusted, they should be competent in their ability to represent your organization and its products or services as you would yourself if it was going through internal or direct seller. But part of that process of trying to confirm or ensure that that partner is fully tooled to be that representative of your organization, training, enablement, certification, specialization is going to be critically important so that you as an organization know that that partner is ready. But also that same information could also help that partner understand where they are lacking or where they are strong, their strengths and their weaknesses as part of the relationship, as well as, if you so desire, could also be data that's fed into a partner directory or partner marketplace that allows for partners to also then be discovered by customers or to validate that those partners that you are recommending or what have you are indeed legitimate. They are indeed competent, and thus instilling more trust because of your brand that those partners with whom they're working with will be able to deliver on their respective projects. Now, what's valuable about this approach as well is not only thinking about the partner organization, but as I mentioned previously, it's also about the roles that are part of that partner organization that are important to the overall success. So we think about training partner organizations. You've had to train based on very specific roles, based on very specific products, etc. So this also allows for you to move away from having in-person training events, which can be rather expensive and correspondingly might not get as great of an attendance, and that might not be as trackable, but allows for self-serviceability. It allows for partners to have trackability in context of where they are, if they started, if they completed, if they've been quizzed and successful. But it also allows for you to then take that additional information and also incorporate it to other aspects of the partnership or other aspects of your partner or channel operation model, such as your partner program. Perhaps that becomes a component or consideration in context of a partner is competent or specialized, or they fall within a certain tier. So that whole notion of having a platform that allows you to sufficiently effectively scale training and enabling partners and confirming their competency or specialization is immensely valuable as well. We talk about partners being a trusted extension of your organization.
So Hannibal, you said two words there that stand out to me. There's training and there's enablement. When you talk about enablement at scale, especially as you grow into different markets or geos, how does that change to look at your approach in enablement at scale in different geographies? And how do you break that up?
Yeah, so we think about enablement, training and enablement. And I kind of view training as, hey, we're getting partners ready, so to speak, so make sure they have the right information, maybe quizzing that they understand it, much like there's a lot of businesses have internal training themselves for their employees. But the enablement is an ongoing type of process of skills, knowledge, and processes as well. So as a partner might have completed a training per se, as they think about how does this product reflect or can be sold in a let's say new market expansion. Great. They have that training is kind of theoretical at that point, but then how do you apply that? So that enablement piece is how do you constantly ensure that a partner has the right information, the right content, the right context, and other processes to aid them in the execution of actually selling in a new market, if we use that respective example. So training and enablement, this should be grouped together. It's not just a one-time thing, but it's an ongoing kind of consistent, continuous support of that partner and their ability to execute effectively with the skills, knowledge, and processes in order to execute their job.
I really like that statement, and it's a perfect example of why the one-size-fits-all approach doesn't necessarily work, right? Because a new market area, a new geography, a new segment group, those all need to be enabled a different way based on where you may be at and where the company may be at, where the partner may be at. So that ongoing evolution, I think, is very well stated. So,
absolutely.
There are also additional benefits to adopting Impartner that customers noted but were not quantified within the financial model. These included improved partner experience and relationships, reduced technology costs from discontinuing legacy solutions, stronger internal alignment between business functions, and brand protection from training partners, as Hannibal alluded to a little bit in the last benefit.
I was going to just quickly say, I really like the fact that it is the TEI study not only focuses on the quantitative, the measurable aspects of investing in a PRM platform technology, but also the qualitative aspects as well, which is much, much more difficult to try to track and measure. But they are immensely impactful, though. We talk about improving partner relationships. One of the things that we see very often that partners have a fragmented mind because they have multiple products that they're selling. Some may be competing products, some may be complementary products, some may be just completely miscellaneous, but they have a portfolio of products that they're selling. And behind each of those products is another vendor that probably has their respective programs and processes and portals, etc. And so we think about how to get your unfair share of those partners' attention and engagement. Having a well implemented and engaging platform that's purpose-built and that is personalized helps to support that relationship, helps to grow that partner's affinity and preference to your organization, because they not only are finding it easy to do business with you, but also enjoy doing business with you. So again, difficult to measure, but it's immensely important. Reducing technology costs, also immensely important as well. We have a lot of different platforms and then trying to stitch them together, and then depending upon whether or not those providers are updating or they are allowing for their updates to be backwards compatible, etc. It can become daunting, especially if you have a lot of different platforms that have to be stitched together. So having a unified platform that a partner can go to as their primary hub, and that platform itself can be that fulcrum point or that big connector to other internal infrastructure, can help tremendously when it comes to the managing costs as well, as opposed to having a lot of different portals or a lot of different tools that you do a different thing as it relates to partners. So that partner experience, having that single pane of glass, one place in space to manage the relationship, is also immensely valuable, but hard to kind of track a quantifiable metric or number with it. The piece about the internal alignment, that's probably one of the other, unfortunately, supremely overlooked areas. Unfortunately, more often than not, a lot of channel marketing or partner marketing teams are viewed as black boxes. Other business functions have no idea what they do. They just know that they work with partners and they maybe contribute something to the business. When the reality is partner marketing, channel marketing teams are critical to indirect business models. And so having a platform that allows you to be able to track partners' engagement, their contribution, their impact, et cetera, provides data, provides insights that then allows for building increased alignment, whether it be with product, whether it be business development, whether it be with channel sales, et cetera, because you have that richness of data because of the platform that is able to track and quantify and provide heuristics and telemetry about how valuable your partners are to your business objectives, to your business overall, and what your team is doing with those partners in order to make that a reality. So using that to have a data-driven conversation to build alignment is immensely powerful. And then lastly, when it comes to brand protection from training partners, super important. You want to make sure that your brand is reflective of through your partners as intended. As I mentioned previously, when it comes to training, you want to make sure your partners are a trusted representative of your organization. So brand protection is also immensely valuable. So I say all that to say, there's a lot more to a PRM platform when it's purpose-built and implemented well that can provide not only quantitative, but also qualitative value for your team and for your overall business and for your partners as well.
So Hannibal, as I consider what you said, and we look at the current market conditions with M&A activity, consolidation, and a lot of people starting to sell companies to either their kids or just sell off to PE firms, how does that play a role in terms of these unquantified benefits around these relationships and examples that you share?
Yeah. That's a great question when it comes to those type of market forces and conditions, and ultimately the life cycle of businesses as well. But as we think about not just the quantifiable aspect of data, which is immensely powerful and important, right? That empirical data feeds into that decision making. But we talk about the qualitative aspect of benefits. They can help appeal to other aspects of those business decision makers or influencers, depending upon where their priorities lie and what's important to them. We talk about brand protection because it's such high brand equity. That's immensely important as something to consider to maybe anchor on. We talk about IT costs, especially when it comes to M&As. We have two or more businesses coming together. There's going to be a lot of redundancy. Showcasing or highlighting the cost effectiveness of your platform as opposed to the platform that exists in the other companies been acquired speaks to that tremendously. Again, it still kind of goes back to the dollars and cents, but also they're comfortable. So for example, if you have integrations with the likes of Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics or other very popular CRMs, that can kind of lend it to even to those IT influencers, to them leaning more in your direction as opposed to the other company's platform qualitatively. The internal alignment bit, super, super, super important and unfortunately grossly overlooked. But highlighting that as well in context of creating or supporting increased business internal efficiencies and collaboration. Great point of resonation when it comes to sticking with this platform as opposed to other considerations. And then lastly, relationships. Any business that truly values partners' contribution to their success will also value how to retain and grow those relationships. And if you already have a platform in place that partners love, trust, and frequent on a regular basis because it adds value to their business, that is a great lever point to utilize as part of those conversations on why to stick with Impartner as opposed to going elsewhere.
Yeah, those are great points, and really appreciate that because a lot of what we're hearing in the market today is, people anticipated a 2 to 3% partner attribution or partner churn rate. The reality is that they're seeing anywhere from 8 to 12% in the market right now because of how things are consolidating, how businesses are getting sold or acquired, and how they're rearranging their partnership strategy or team, which is impacting a lot of companies. So I appreciate that perspective, Hannibal. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, it's something else I would add, if I may, is I have seen and have heard from clients as well that, hey, a decision was made to not move forward with a particular platform provider because whatever conditions internally, politics, bureaucracy, maybe not the greatest demo, what have you. But there have been numerous instances where clients may have thought that another platform was better, and then to commence with the process of trying to implement it or utilize it to realize the grass was not necessarily greener. And so requiring them to kind of circle back, hey, did we miss something in our assessment? Did we have the right type of criteria built out as far as what we thought we need versus what we realized what we actually need? And thus, unfortunately, recognizing a little late, but better late than never, of going back to the provider that they might have had previously and recognize that, hey, we thought we had found better, or we thought we needed something different, when actuality what was presented initially indeed met all the criteria. And perhaps depending upon the time span that might have taken place between those two instances, there are evolution, continued development and improvement of one platform over the other. And so that plays a factor as well, consideration, as far as sometimes you might not win everything, but if you showcase the best foot forward, some of those clients will still boomerang and come back.
It's the checkbox fallacy, right? You have this idea or concept that, hey, if they check these boxes for, a quote unquote functionality, then we should be good to go. But when it comes to integrating, operating, and managing those systems and putting it into our business process, you sometimes find where there's massive gaps, even though they check the checkbox, right? So it's a great example.
Great. And, as this is an ROI analysis, we've covered the benefits, but of course there are also costs. And there were 4 costs of Impartner quantified within our model. First, there were internal costs for implementation and deployment, which lasted 6 weeks. Next, there were direct fees to Impartner, which covered implementation services, annual licenses, and integration costs. Ongoing support costs are the internal labor dedicated to management of the platform, and this amounts to 20 FTE hours per week. And finally, firms did incur some internal costs on developing their partner training courses and material when they went from a physical to digital environment.
So, Sam, I did have a question on this one. As you look at those internal ongoing costs for the staff to support the technology or the partners, this also includes that scale that we talked about previously. Is that correct, in terms of how do I have my channel account managers scale with the number of partners? Is that accurate?
Yeah, this is another one of those levers, right? It's going to depend on your organization size and scope. So, we do risk adjust all these. So they are risk adjusted to account for variability that we heard from different organizations. We tend to lean to the side of conservatism. So in terms of risk adjustment, any risk adjustment here actually bumps up the cost within the model from the composite organization. Again, example, implementation and deployment, we recognize that there's going to be organizations that are more or less agile than each other. So some of them might take a little bit longer, right? But those are internal factors that are going to vary from company to company. And again, we try to make it very conservative and risk adjusted for the average reader to account for any of those discrepancies.
Yeah, appreciate that. And another great opportunity to refer people to the full report, right? So they can see some of those details.
Absolutely. Great. And once again, wrapping up that after covering the benefits and costs, we have the top line financial numbers. So summing up our financial findings over the 3-year period for the composite organization, we have a return on investment of 296%, an NPV or net present value of $2.4 million, and a payback period of under 6 months.
So also to kind of wrap this up and put a bow on it, I think this is a great empirical representation of the potential impact of having a well-implemented, purpose-built PRM platform to support your partner ecosystem growth and performance for your overall business.
All right. Well, Sam and Hannibal, thank you both so much for spending some time with us here today and going through this study. We are so thankful for your time and effort put in, and for, of course, the insights that you bring to the company and to the industry. We want to thank everyone for attending on our webcast today, and are very grateful that you've spent your time with us as well. We would encourage you to take a screen capture of this QR code to take you right to how to access the report, or just go to the link here as well. As we look at your questions and comments off to the side, we will come back to those in a follow-up blog that will be posted in conjunction with this presentation here today. But we appreciate everyone spending that time with us, and thank you all. Sam, Hannibal, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Everyone have a great day.